This drug combination sent me into a coma for 7 days. What's up, you guys? My name is Nicole Pludre. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I love to talk about drugs, addiction, recovery, and so much more. This comment right here says, what happened next? Thank you for sharing. So she commented this on a video I made about a drug combination that sent me into psychosis, and later I went into a coma for 7 days. And that combination of drugs was as follows. I had been up for 5 days on a meth binge, had shot some Roxy's, taken some Xanax, and eaten a 100 milligram Seroquel pill. Then I was in the hospital and they gave me 2 different shots of Thorazine ×2, Haldol ×2. Then my body went into a coma. My internal organs started to shut down and my body went into a coma. I still had brain activity. My brain didn't shut down or anything like that. I was just, my liver, my kidneys, my internal organs started shutting down, and I went into a coma. So in that video, I was sharing about my experience because what had happened basically was I was in such a bad state of psychosis. I was kind of unmanageable, and the doctors made a call and gave me a second injection of Thorazine and a second injection of Haldol, which it basically sent me over the edge, and my body couldn't take anymore, and my body started to shut down, therefore causing me to go into a coma. What happened next was I laid there in a coma for 7 days, not knowing that I was in a coma. A lot of people ask me, did you see anything? Did you hear anything? Do you remember anything? No. I remember everything up until that point, up until the point of going into the coma. And then I remember immediately what happened when I woke up. When I woke up on the 7th day, my mother was standing over me crying. And I opened my eyes, and the first words out of my mother's mouth was, "Do you know how long you've been here?" Now, my mom had been watching me slowly kill myself in active addiction for about 12 or 13 years at this point. And so she had been through every experience with me. She has seen me in the hospital many a times because of drug overdoses. She has seen me in car wrecks. She has seen me overdosed. She has seen me being brought back from overdoses. She has seen me in treatment centers. She has seen me in compromising situations. She's caught me shooting up in her bathroom. My mom has seen it all. And when I woke up and I saw her face and I saw how upset she was, I thought in my mind, no, like, how long have I been here? It scared me because I knew if my mom was upset, then something was really fucking wrong. And so she explained to me that I had been in a coma for 7 days. And at that point, that is when my mind kind of shifted to, oh my gosh, I need to get out of here because I feel like shit. I feel like shit. I need to escape this feeling of feeling like shit. I need to get high. And so my mom asked me where my car was at, and I told her it was at Gerald's house. And she took me to my car and begged me to come back to Hot Springs with her to go into treatment. And I was like, no, I'm not going to treatment. And I jumped in my car and I drove off and I went to my friend's house to go get high. For about 2 more weeks, I stayed out getting high, shooting up meth, shooting up oxys. And I remember I was at a point where I was just really in my bedroom at Tara's house. It wasn't my bedroom. It was her daughter's bedroom. I slept on the couch, but I was sleeping in her daughter's bed because her daughter was sleeping with her. And I was looking out the window and I could see this like demon looking back through the window at me. And I remember being so afraid that this demon was going to inhabit my body and take over my life. So I ran next door to Tara's room and I woke her up and I said, can you please look out the window? Tell me if you see what I see. And she was like, Nicole, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. I can't keep doing this. Like, she would get high too, but she wouldn't act like I would act. She wouldn't get all crazy. And so to have her kind of like disgusted and upset with me and my crazy, that was a wake-up call for me. And I got up the next morning. I didn't go to sleep, but I got ready the next morning. And I drove to Hot Springs and I went to my parents' house and I knocked on the door and I said, I'm ready to go to treatment. Will you help me find a place that will take me? So my mom got the phone book out, gave me, the phone, and I called every place I could in Little Rock because I knew that I didn't need to come back to Hot Springs to go to treatment because that's that was where my addiction started, and I had just a really bad relationship with my hometown. So I called all these different places, and then I called RCA, Recovery Centers of Arkansas. I had been to RCA before because I actually paroled out to one of their sober living homes when I got out of prison. And so they knew me, and they were my last effort. They were my last option because nobody else took my insurance that I had at the time. It was Obamacare, and people were wanting me to pay cash. It was just a whole situation. And basically RCA was my last option, and they told me I owed a balance of like $500, and that if I could pay that, then I could come back to RCA. And so I got my little bit of money I had in my savings account. You're probably going, how did you have money and be a drug addict? I worked a full-time job through my whole addiction. I paid off a vehicle. I paid my bills. Like I worked really hard to pay off my car and to keep up with the few bills that I did have, so I could stay afloat, because I knew without a vehicle I would be totally fucked in life. So I was able to hold on to that. I didn't have my own place to live or anything like that, but I had a car to get from point A to point B. At least I did for most of the time. So they accepted me. I gave them the money I owed them, and I went into treatment. And I stayed for 30 days, went into sober living, and relapsed shortly after that. By that time, it was almost the middle of 2012. A couple of months have gone by after I got out of treatment and relapsed, and that is when I met my husband, who's now my husband, Neil. I met my husband in September of 2012, and we fell in love. I ended up getting pregnant in 2013. In active addiction, and giving birth to my son in 2014 in active addiction. A year passed, and my son got taken away from me 2 days before his first birthday. It was the most devastating experience of my whole entire life, and I regret it to this day. I regret every single day not getting help for my addiction when I found out I was pregnant. I regret it every single day. And that's why I've worked so hard to stay sober for the almost 9 years I have now, because of my son. So my son got taken away from me 2 days before his first birthday, and I put myself in rehab, and the rest is history. I've been sober ever since. But it took me losing my son to really wake me up, because all the other consequences that I had experienced, prison, jail, my car got impounded and I lost it. Losing relationships, my parents turning their back on me eventually because they couldn't keep enabling my bad behavior. Job opportunities, jobs that I lost, money I lost. I lost so much shit in my active addiction, but none of those consequences really made a difference in my life. The final consequence that really rocked my fucking world was losing custody of my son. Because all through my addiction, the only thing I said I would never do was use drugs while I was pregnant and lose custody of my son. And I did that. I did those things. And I can remember it clear as day, saying these things when I would see other people using drugs while pregnant, or other people who had lost custody of their children. I would always think in my mind, that will never be me. But God has a funny way of humbling you and giving you exactly what you need, exactly when you need to get it. And that's what happened to me. I lost custody of my son, and that was what saved my life in the long run. So that's what happened next. If you have any questions, you guys can put them down below. Don't forget to check out my series. I have it linked right here, and you can get to know me a lot better through that series, because I share so much information in these 4 series that are linked right here. Thanks for asking the question, though.